Okay, in this third video in this unit, we'll be talking about the design of the wiki. Now, when you're looking at the design, you have to consider your audience. You have to consider whether you want something to be simple and functional or fancy but potentially more difficult to use. And that depends partially on your audience.
Recently, one of my master students did a master thesis on comparing 3 websites of the current teaching Chinese as a second language market. Then you can see the first website, TLI, they proclaim that they have a long history of teaching Chinese. So they are experts. You can look at the picture, the expert, knowledgeable man seated in the center position, surrounded by all these happy, admiring young men and young women trying to gain the wisdom from the old sage. So that's this picture and the image they want to project to attract maybe 30-year-old young adults to their program. The second example is TMI. You can see the TMI actually uses Taipei 101 as the image. In other words, this is a metropolitan educational program. It's not rural. It's very fancy and top-notch world Mandarin language center. And you look at the clientele, they are probably 30, 40-year-old businessmen and businesswomen. And if you look at the teacher, who has to be a young female professional who can design useful educational materials to cater to the needs of the businessmen and women. But then you look at the third website by TMC. The picture shows these are all teenagers, at most in the 20-year-old category. So the reason they want to study Chinese is not for business, but for making friends, learning about the culture, to have fun, and to get to know each other. So these 3 websites show, different clientele, and as a result, they project different images for their own business needs.
Right, and you can see that not just in the people, but in the setting. TMI, that shows a desk, and everybody has papers on their desk, and yet they're also looking at the teacher. Whereas TMC, there are no books. It's just all social. It's, we're having a great time.
No teacher.
Right. And the other is TLI, is sort of in between. There's one notebook, but obviously the emphasis is still more on the social aspect.
Discussion,
right.
Not teacher-centered.
Right. So by your first page, your very beginning homepage, you are identifying yourself in a certain way. So you always have to remember that you're looking at 2 different audiences. One is the judges, and really that's the most important audience as far as the awards. On the other hand, you may have other people looking at the wiki, and so on the one hand, your organization should be easy for the judges. On the other hand, it should be appealing for a broader audience so that hopefully others will look at it too. And these days, websites are multimodal. It's not just a single writing. It's not only still images, but you can include moving images. You can include speech. You can include many different things in that wiki, and should consider the possibility of that. And then again, how do you move between pages? There should be a next button as well as a back button, and perhaps other links that would be useful links to make it easy to move between the pages in a reasonable way. In terms of ease of use, there's a balance between, if you have shorter pages, they load faster. That's good. But if you have many pages, then you also have many clicks. And so you have to find a balance between enough information on a page so you don't have to click, 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 At the same time, not too long a page because it takes too long to load. So again, here's an example from the iGEM 2022 team on the members page. And it doesn't say how you get more information about the leaders. There's nothing there that says that. And you assume, I think most people assume, well, you click on something and maybe something happens. And so if you click on the first leader there, her picture comes up and you can read about some of her background, what she did on the team. But at the same time, the image behind that is scrolling. So even though you started on the leaders page, by the time I've read this, I'm on human practice. And if I go back, now I'm no longer on the leaders page. I can't go to the next leader. I can't see anything about them. I have to scroll backwards. So this was very fancy, but not very efficient. So make sure if you're going from one page to another, the images don't scroll in the background away from where you are, because that is very distracting. So as you design your wiki, get input from other people. Get input from other students. Is this attractive? Is this easy to use? Get input from the faculty, because they're closer to the judges and they can give you information about how they would look at this and whether it's easy to follow. And other teams. Part of your collaboration can be, can you look at my wiki? And I'll look at your wiki and give comments on how to improve that aspect of the project as well. Not just the technical aspects, but the presentation aspects. So in the final video in this series, we'll be looking at the writing of the wiki, the actual writing process and how you can improve that.